faces that I haven't met before. I'm Pablo, Campus Director, HalpRise LSE. Some of the people here are part of the organizing committee. And I think it would be actually interesting, now that it's not that many of us, to actually, each of you can introduce yourself, say what you study, and say maybe which team you're in. I see some of you are already with your teams. So if you want to start from here, and then we'll move kind of forward.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sarah. My team isn't here today, and we've actually just joined recently. I'm studying Environment and Development Masters. Yeah, and just arrived at the LSE in September. Yeah.
Great. From here, yeah.
Hi, I'm Tintin Moore, and I'm of the same group of the media and Somali and church. Yeah.
Okay. Great. What's the name of your team? Okay.
So our team is called Refuge Transnational.
Okay.
But our startup is called Refugee Speaker.
All right. Cool. Amazing. You want to go kind of on the row behind?
Yeah, sure. My name's Edan. I'm a third year economics student at LSE. I'm also the only one here today, unfortunately. And our team hasn't registered yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll
So that's
make
it.
sure to do that before the
You're sitting down next to Roman as appears
yeah,
to be.
yeah, before the deadline.
Yeah. No worries. That's fine. All right. Over here.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. My team isn't here today, but I'm an econ undergrad, my second year.
Cool. Open. We're just introducing everyone. Great. Perfect. And you're also representing your team. It's not here, right?
Yeah, my team isn't
Okay.
here.
Perfect. No problem. Well, over here. Right up front.
Brian, I'm studying economics, year one. Our team is here.
Perfect. Well, if you all want to introduce yourself and your name.
Oh, I'm Jesse.
Yeah.
I'm a first year undergrad studying econs as well.
Great.
Hi, my name is Jamie. I'm law and I'm year one. Hi, my name is IC and I'm doing management. Year one as well.
Great. All right. Well, that's awesome. I know that we haven't had that many times in which all of you have been able to meet each other. So it's cool that also if you want to, after the event, to kind of hang out, that's also a good way. I mean, this is all about networking and meeting new people and starting startups together. So with that note, let's start. Thank you all for coming to the training session. We're going to cover a lot of content here. Let me tell you a little bit of what's going to happen. First of all, I want to apologize for the fact that John Lowe couldn't be with us in the end. He is actually feeling very sick, but he said he's going to tune in through Skype. So we have everything ready for him to come up on the screen, and he'll be answering all your questions. He'll go with you through his presentation in 2017. For those of you who don't know, John Lowe is who was the winner of HalpRise LSE in 2017, and he also got super close. They were on the second place for the regionals, which was it was very difficult year because there were so many people. It was the year on the refugees theme, so that one was very big. So yeah, he has a lot of tips for you and for your presentation. But before that, I want to cover some of the more dry stuff. So I'm going to go through it as quick as I can. All of this is going to be online. You're going to have it. We're also recording it, so no worries. You don't have to take notes. But it's very important things for the next couple of weeks. I want to start very quickly with, well, first thing, welcome to HalpRise. Thank you for registering. It's great to see how so many of you wanted to change the world through social entrepreneurship. I want to brush through this very quick. Most of you I think already know, but we are here at the on-campus part of the competition. This competition has 4 stages, let's say. We start with the on-campus at every university. We have over 1,000 universities. Then we move to the regional finals, which 25 regional finals this year. And from there, there's going to be an accelerator during the summer that is 1.5 months with classes from world-leading experts and a great way for you to develop your idea to the fullest. And then 6 teams will move to the UN finals where you're going to compete for $1 million and you're going to be able to present your idea at the United Nations headquarters in New York. We're starting here with the LSE quarterfinals. That's the official name of the event that will happen the 8th of December, which I hope all of you are aware. This is the day in which you're going to pitch your idea in front of a panel of selected judges, and one team from LSE will be selected to go to regional finals. I won't go into too much details of all of this. You can go through them. Regional finals. These are the locations for those of you who haven't seen it yet. We have. Oh, hello. Hi. Welcome. We have just started, but come over. Yeah, perfect. So these are the 25 regional finals. You can go through them. One important thing is that whenever you win from LSE, you can decide whichever you want to go. In Europe, we have London, we have Paris, we have Madrid, so those are closer, but you can go anywhere in the world that you want. Then we have the Accelerator program and the New York finals. So I won't talk too much about that. I want to talk more about what's going on now at the LSE on-campus program. Here are the deadlines that you have coming up for the next 2 weeks. I know it's been super rushed and that you have had very little time to develop your idea, but you all, I think, are making good progress, but you need to stick to these deadlines that are coming up very soon. So the first one is this Saturday, when the registration deadline will finish, and that goes to the team that hasn't registered yet. You make sure that you register before midnight. Then we have the business plan, which we'll talk a little bit more about, but that's just, that will be, you can submit a business plan up to December 3rd, and then the presentation submission, which is the most important deadline. You do really need to submit that one by the December 7th, which is the night before the event. We need to have all of your texts ready for the event, so make sure that you have all finalized. We don't want to get into trouble of people handing them over in the morning, because that will be a lot of trouble for us artistically.
So when you say text, do you mean that you mean PowerPoint?
Yeah, I mean the PowerPoint.
Okay.
We'll go a little bit more into detail of like what the PowerPoint can be and everything, all of that. Let's go to the LSE quarterfinals. This is the event that we're gonna have in the 8th of December. It's gonna be when you have your opportunity to pitch your idea. So I wanna show you the schedule that we have so far, which of course will depend on the final number of teams that we have signed up, but this is kind of how it provisionally looks like. Essentially, we're gonna start with registration at 1 p.m. And then we need you to be on time for that. And we're gonna start with a preliminary round from 1:30 to 2:30, and then some teams will be selected for a final round at 3:15, and then we're gonna have a reception for the rest of the day. Let me go one by one into each of these. We can start with registration. Some very important details about that. First of all, of course, be there on time. We have a very tight schedule for the event, so we need all of you to be there by 1:15 to register, get everything you need to get for the event. We are asking everyone to go in business formal. We want to keep the event as professional as possible. We have very high level judges coming to the event, so you want to look your brightest. You have to submit your presentation, as I say, by December 7th, and this is super important. We will not take presentations on the day, and you will need to, there's a typo, sorry for that. You need to inform us of any special requests that you have before. So if you want to do something for the event, something related to your presentation that you want to tell us that is not just a presentation and you speaking, please tell us before, just so we are aware. We are usually quite lenient to anything that you want to do. It's normal, not at this stage, but at all the stages, for people to bring prototypes, for people to do some sort of thing on the stage, but we want to know what you're going to be doing, because that way we can be prepared for it. Let's look at the preliminary round. Essentially, this is the moment where all of you are going to be able to pitch your idea, but this first pitch is going to be a closed-door pitch. What this means is that each of you will be presenting each of your teams will be presenting the idea to the judges alone. So there won't be an audience for this part of the process. Essentially, we're going to have 4 rooms, which you only see here 2 rooms, but imagine that there's 4 rooms in which we're going to divide all of you into those, and you're going to have a specific time slot in which which you're going to have to present, and you're going to have a waiting room in which you're going to be waiting. The reason why we do this is that we want to keep it as fair as possible. We want to keep, at least at this stage, the ideas just for yourself, and we don't want others to start to get influenced by what the person before has pitched and started to change their pitch. You come with your pitch already ready, and then you present it. It's still, as I said, alone, and also an important thing is that you won't be presenting in front of all the judges. They will be randomly allocated to different rooms. We're counting with, at the moment, something between 8 to 10 judges, so that's going to be 2 to 3 judges in every room.
Who are the judges? Like, is it...
We will disclose that soon. We do have them confirmed. We just need to, we're going to do a public announcement of that very soon. But yeah, for your information, the only one that I can already disclose is John Lowe, who hasn't joined us today, but he will be one of the judges. But we have people coming from the private sector, from the social enterprise sector, and also from the non-profit sector. So we have kind of a good variety of backgrounds in the judges. The final round, this will be after a deliberation by the judges. 4 to 6 teams from the different rooms, the ones that they like the most, will be selected to do the pitch again. And this will be in the Hong Kong Theatre, where everyone will be together. We're gonna have a keynote speech at the beginning, and then I'll announce the 4 to 6 teams that have been selected from the previous round, and you will have to come on the spot to the stage, one by one, and present your idea again. And this time you will be with all the judges in the room. So at this point you will have questions coming from all the 8 to 10 judges that will have during the day. Okay, and of course after this there will be another deliberation process, and at some point during the reception we'll get everyone together again and announce the winner of this year. That's what the award ceremony will be about. One team gets selected, and I want to clarify how the prize is looking at the moment. If there's any changes in it, we'll let you know, but I want to be very clear with what can we confirm that will be involving with the prize of winning the Hall Prize at LSE, which is of course a pass to the regional finals, but it also includes a special mentoring from Stephen Chambers, which is the founder and president of the Marshall Institute, and he will be providing a special mentoring scheme for the team and preparing them for regional finals. And this is a very nice and exclusive service that the Marshall Institute has kindly decided to provide to the team. And they've also decided to provide a meeting space for the team to meet at any time during the Marshall Institute. It's a super nice place you haven't been before. It's just a very great place for you to kind of develop your idea further. So this is kind of what we can offer at the moment. I want to talk now about how to pitch your idea, but if you have any questions about the event, we can take those now. Does anyone have any questions what I just said?
What are some examples of special requests that a team might have for the presentation itself?
Sure. I guess, well, for the presentation itself, if anything, maybe if you have a video, it'd be good to let us know if you're going to be presenting a video, so we're ready to make sure that there will not be any IT problems for that. But in general, it's more about the staging. I mean, of course, at this point, I don't think most of you will have that problem. But when it gets later on the stages of the competition, it tends to be that people want to bring, as I said, prototypes. They maybe want to do some staging before. I don't know. We had one in the regionals in London where someone was bringing like a sack of grain to the presentation and was like throwing it on the floor just to make a statement at the beginning. And it was a bit of a performance, but like we need to know that these things will happen, because otherwise we'll see you coming over with some random things in your hands and we're like, what is going on? We just need to know. But of course, it's just you're very free to do whatever you want in your presentation, and this is that's how creative you want to get, but you don't have to get that creative. Like that is just some examples, and that doesn't guarantee you also that it will be any different from just making a normal presentation. What matters is the content. But yeah, it's just in case you have any special requests, you can let us know, and then you can, yeah.
For the deadlines,
Yeah.
so for example, if we have to submit our business plan by midnight, the 3rd of December, does that mean that we need to submit it by 23:59 on the 6th of December?
Yes, midnight will be 23:59, yes.
Okay, so we don't have like a whole day on the 7th? Or-
Sorry, you mean on the 7th or on the...
Sorry, okay, so if we have to submit...
Yeah, you're sorry, it's the midnight of that night. So the night of the 3rd and the night of the 7th is when you would have to bring it. So you have the whole 3rd to do it,
Oh,
but it's at
okay.
the end of the day. Sorry, maybe that wasn't clear, my bad. All right, so if no one else has any questions, there will be plenty of time for questions afterwards. I'll go for giving some advice for the presentation, and I want to keep this also short because John Lowe will also give you a lot of details about this. Yeah, so let's start with what to include in your presentation. These are things that you might want to include. I think you should include all of them in some way or another. You also don't have to include them in this order, but this is a good checklist for you to think, have I mentioned all of these things? So it's what's your idea? This is of course very simple and very clear, but many people sometimes forget to actually properly explain what they're doing. We had so many themes even in later stages of the competition where the judges just they finish their pitch, and then the first judge raises her hand, and then it's like, well, can you explain me again what you're doing? Because it can get a bit confusing if you're focusing on other aspects and you're not clear with what your idea is actually about. So make sure that your idea is very, very well explained and clearly so anyone can understand. Then, what's the target? This is actually very important. Of course, you cannot be targeting all the unemployment population in the world. You will be probably doing your operations in a specific country, at least at the beginning. You will probably be looking at a specific issue or a specific cohort of people. You may also be looking at a specific market to sell them something, and then at a different market to provide your kind of social impact. That could also happen, but make sure that you explain what the target is, so we know what the market share is and like what are the numbers that we're talking about. What's your mission and vision? Of course, you don't have to like explicitly say, here, this is my mission, hey, this is my vision. Is everyone familiar with mission and vision? I can explain very briefly, but yeah, basically, I mean, mission is like what your company does, and vision is kind of what you kind of want to achieve to do. Explain it broadly. An example is usually easier. Like if you're a kind company, imagine like your mission is to build good cars, but your vision probably is to something like revolutionize the automobile industry. So the vision is more broader, like what's your future plans, and the mission is like exactly what you want to do. It's important to have those there. Like it doesn't have to be explicit, but at least implicitly, like look at your presentation and see if you're bringing those over at some point. What's your business model? This is very important. I'll go afterwards to how the judges are gonna be judging your presentation, but one of the criteria that they need to judge is the profitability. So make sure you explain how you're making profit. As I explained in the info session, but I assume as many of you will know, social enterprises, they're businesses, so they have to make money. The aim is that you will be able to be self-sufficient in the future. So how are you going to make profits? How are you actually going to generate that money that will allow you to continue your business without additional help? The next one is how will you impact 10,000 people within a decade? This is of course the challenge of this year. So you need to make sure this one has to be very explicit. You need to make sure you, at some point of the presentation, explain how you're gonna be able to deal with the challenge of this year. Like the whole idea of having this theme and having a theme every year is that we want to focus on a specific topic. So especially this year where we're looking at each of the teams generating 10,000 jobs, so we can together as a community, the whole health race, generate 1 million people, then it's very important that you can explain us that you can actually achieve that goal like 10 years from now. And building on that one, what's your plan, right? So how are you gonna move on from now on? This is actually very important for this stage because we're talking about I mean, most of you have recently just started with your ideas, and we don't expect any of you to have already any background or anything already planned or any activities already, any activity in your business happening. But you need to explain us what's your goal, what are you gonna do next, what's you gonna do with from now on until the regionals, what are you gonna do from in a year time, what are you do in 5 years time, where are you gonna be in 10 years. Things like, yes, we're first gonna start by looking at some funding, then we wanna create a prototype, then we wanna go and actually go on site and trial this prototype. Like all of these things, you need to explain very well what's gonna be your progress, because they need to know whether you really have thought through your idea. And the final one is, what are you gonna do with $1 million? Of course, this is all about creating social enterprises, but the competition is about winning $1 million. So you need to explain why you need those $1 million to create your idea, and what are you going to be using them for. And of course, this will come much later. You don't have to think about the $1 million currently. I wouldn't encourage you to build your idea on the fact that you will win the $1 million. That's another point that is important to make sure. But of course, it's good to tell the judges what you're going to do with them. Imagine them as investors who have $1 million in their pockets, and you need to convince them that you are the best idea and you have the best business model for them to invest $1 million. That's essentially what they're doing. How will you be judged? So we tried for the past half an hour to print this for you now, but we're going to give you a digital copy very soon. But I'll also put it up on the screen. This is the sheet, the scorecard that they're gonna be using. The judges are gonna be using to judge you. Of course, this is just a paper. They will take more notes than what is here, but this is a way for them to evaluate your bits. So it's very important. You'll have access to this. At the beginning, I didn't provide access because I didn't know if it was possible, but it is possible. So you can have all that information, and you can make sure that your presentation is counting on every point. So here I only have the highlights, but it's essentially, is your idea aligned and sustainable? Is it profitable? Is it feasible and market driven? Is it disruptive? Is it new? Is it a new idea? And also, is it scalable? So all of those you'll need to look at some point or another. And yeah, I won't go into more detail about this, but you can explore the scorecard yourself once you can see it digitally, and you will also be able to ask us any questions about it. Sorry.
Oh, will we get these slides later?
Yeah. You'll get all the information. Yeah, no worries about typing all this. Another thing that I want to add to the how you'll be judged. Yeah, don't forget about other aspects. Of course, the judges will have this scorecard on their tables, and they will be taking notes on how well you do on these specific topics. But there is much more to it than that. Of course, these are humans evaluating you, and there is there's this sentence that Michael McCarthy, who's one of the experts that came to the Accelerator in 2018, told everyone, and I think it's very important. You sell through emotions, and then you back up things with facts. You need to make sure that you not only include facts and make a very clear statement of what you're doing, but you should also be able to capture the attention of people through emotion, because people buy things through emotion. Imagine, this is why I put this picture of Shark Tank. I don't know if any of you have seen Shark Tank before, but that's the idea. Imagine them as a group of investors that are looking at your idea to invest in it. That's essentially what they're doing, and you need to convince them that this is gonna be a very powerful idea that can impact a lot of people, and you need to tell them a story. So storytelling is very important. How are you gonna build your pitch so you only have 6 minutes, so we're not talking about you having to tell us an incredible story, but if you need to add, it's good to add some emotion to what you're saying. Also, the presentation skills are very important. I didn't touch on that before, but yes, your soft skills and your abilities to pitch the idea is going to be very important. The way that you are able to convince them relies a lot on your soft skills, but we can work a lot more on that, and I think John will also touch on that, so I won't spend too much time. I want to talk briefly about what you can do to get ready. I think this is actually very important. There's a lot of resources that we have organized for you to use during the next 2 weeks, so I think you should utilize all of them. We're going to start with the obvious ones, which you probably have already looked at, I hope. Let's do a raise of hands. Who has actually seen all of this? Who has seen the challenge video and the case study and has looked at previous presentations? I see one hand. The rest is still, well, you need to do all of this before you do your presentation. Make sure the first two are super important. I mean, this is a 30-minute training by the person who ideated the challenge of this year. So this is exactly, this person will tell you exactly what we're looking for. And you need to make sure that you align to that. You should also read the case study, of course, and make sure that your idea aligns to that. And I think it would be very helpful for you to look at previous Half-Price presentations. All of these are online in YouTube. You can see so many, like there's so many hours of content, especially of the UN ones, which are the best teams. And you can look at them and like analyze how they did it, copy whatever you see is good, because I mean, that's what everyone, that's just copy whatever. I mean, if you see someone having a very good idea of how to present, just make sure that you use it. Like if especially look at who won last year, you can probably get a lot of ideas from how they presented their idea, how they organized their deck, all of that. You should definitely use as inspiration. I want to move on from this content that you probably already know to something that we secured very recently. And I'm sorry this wasn't available for you before, but we only recently got confirmation from them that we could access this. But this is something that we've been working on for the past weeks, trying to get access to this content for you, which I think is going to be very helpful. This is the Social Enterprise Institute, which is an organization, I think they're actually based in Scotland, but they work with a lot of social entrepreneurs, and especially young people who want to become social entrepreneurs, and they're a platform to provide support and training for them. They have a bunch of things that they have agreed to provide for free to everyone who is participating in Half-Price at LSE. So all of this you should definitely take a look at. If not during these 2 weeks, which you should, later on, whenever you want to build on your own startup or whenever you move on to the regional finals. Let me go very briefly through them. One of them is a documentary. It's a good way of kind of getting some inspiration. You're gonna hear about several social entrepreneurs and kind of their journey and their challenges that they faced, and it's, I think, very, very interesting for you to learn a little bit more about how does it feel to be a social entrepreneur and what does it take. The next one is super important, and I think it's very, very interesting for you. This is a learning platform that they have, a teaching platform that they essentially have allowed us access to, and it has essentially different topics. You will have to go through it and browse through it. There's a lot of content. We only recently got access, so I still haven't browsed through all of it. But it's very, very interesting content on all aspects related to how to build up a startup. And you also have templates, you have tips, you have exercises built in it. So it's actually very interactive, and it's very, very interesting for you to develop your social enterprise, social entrepreneurship skills. This program just by itself is $999 or pounds. So the fact that you're getting all of this for free is really amazing. So you should definitely use these resources. Like, there's people paying for this a crazy amount of money. And then you also have the support system, which is the Social Sifter memberships, which is £99 a year, and now you also get it for free, at least for this year. And it's going to be a great way for you to build on your network for finding coaches, finding mentors, finding more courses online, more masterclasses, more events. All of this is just only accessible for members of this organization, and you'll be able to become members for free. So how to do that? You don't have to look at it now, but you'll have the slides so you can look at it, and we'll also send the details online to all of you. Essentially, you sign up, and then by the end, when you have to pay for it, you add the coupon code, and it will be fine. All right, and also, very important, we have Roman and I think Sapir left for a second, but they're here. They're your team coordinators. They're going to be here supporting you for these 2 weeks. So any questions that you have, just ask them. They're there for that. Any questions that you have about your business idea, about how to pitch, anything that you want to learn more about, just ask them. They're there for you, and we're all here. Like, you can also ask me. And we can help you contact mentors and professors, not necessarily even during these weeks, but afterwards if you kind of want to continue with your idea. All of this is available for you. There's 2 things that I wanted to mention before we run into, which actually we're keeping a good time. Before we go to John Lowe, I want to go to what's next this week. We only recently confirmed these events, but there's a couple of events coming up tomorrow that could be interesting for you as well, especially maybe for those of you who are not here but are seeing this video. There's first a masterclass by Dr. Evangelos Markopoulos, who was the mentor for Sunrise, the winners of 2018. This is going to be a masterclass, probably focusing on similar topics to the ones that I covered today, but he will probably bring his own perspective, so it may be interesting if you also want to hear what he can say and how he trained Sunrise to win the $1 million. I think it could be very good advice. So Halprise at UCL has allowed us to co-host the event with them, so we're going to be there, and you can come. It's going to be at 6 p.m. I'm also trying to get the deck of the content that he's going to be presenting for those who cannot make it, but I cannot confirm anything about that. So, but if you can make it, then that would be awesome.
What do you mean by mentor? Is that, do you get the mentor once you get through?
Yeah, well, the mentors are more, in this case, I think, although I'm not absolutely sure, but I think what happened with Evangelos, and he has been helping Sunrise throughout the whole process, is that he was one of the person that was helping build Halprise at UCL, and he offered she offered to be a mentor for whoever won from UCL. So Sunrise won from UCL last year, and then they immediately got. So it's similar to what Stephen Chambers has agreed to do with the team at LSE, which is like to offer mentorship to the winning team. But he will, I mean, of course, there's also an opportunity to talk to him and to ask him if you would want mentorship or some advice, that for sure. But what I said before, I know there's not that much time at the moment, but if you do want to find specific people through the Marshall Institute or through LSE Generate as well, which we're collaborating with, there's a lot of people around, a lot of alumni as well from LSE that can be helpful and can be good mentors for you. So all you need to do is ask us, tell us what specifically you're looking for, what specific professional profile you're looking for, and we can try to help you. So this is one event. The other event, which is kind of clashing at the same time, but it will happen right after, it's at 7 p.m. These were some drinks organized initially by the London Blockchain Labs, but they've been open to Enactus and Halprise. We've been trying to organize this event for a while, but it kind of ran into a few issues, so that's why we haven't been able to announce it before. But these are going to be, and we're going to try to do more of this next term, even though we're not going to have Halprise at LSE itself having events, but we'll try to connect you to all of these kind of drinks and networking events that are happening around campus. This one will be with Halprise at UCL and LSE, with Enactus, with London Blockchain Labs, and essentially you'll be able to connect with people from all 3 communities. We want to get everyone together. The topic of this one will be on social impact and entrepreneurship, so it'll be everyone who will be interested in doing something related to social impact, especially interested if you're interested in some tech aspects, if you want to get some advice, if your idea involves anything related to tech. The people at the London Blockchain could be very interested in this, and I think you can make some connections. But anyways, it's a good way to just, more relaxed, more informal, and network with other people who are interested in social impact. I will shut up now because I said a lot of things. So any questions before I connect with John Lowe about anything that I just said?
In the final bit, you're not expected to have done any testing, or so you're just pitching your idea, but you're not expected to have done any actual testing or running.
You mean at the
one coming up?
At the one coming up, no. No. At the one coming up, you're not expected to have done any testing. You're also not expected to have had any progress with the event, with the business idea whatsoever. Like it's now we're currently evaluating your idea. Like this is the first very early stage, and we're just looking at what you want to do. And of course, the more clear and precise you can be with specifically what you're gonna be doing and how you're gonna be doing it and how you're gonna get there. Like, of course, like yeah, it's trickier to sell it when you're not able to provide something solid to the table. So that's why you have to be very, very precise with specifically what you want to do. So, but yeah, in general, we're not looking at you having to have any progress already, but just being aware of the challenges that you will face. And at this stage, like, you know, the judges will probably be like, they have experience doing this for a long time, so they will come up with very, probably very challenging questions for you during the Q&A. And that will mean that you just need to be prepared for that. And a lot of it is also kind of being able to come up on the spot with a solution to what they will challenge you. So, I mean, but you have everything. Like it's always a bit of the best advice I would say is that you just try to ask yourself, what could someone ask me about my idea, and also ask people around you, like, hey, this is my idea, what do you think could be the challenges that someone will come up with, and try to get as much feedback that way. We also, I want to come up actually, because I didn't mention it that much, to the business plan, just to clarify something in there. This business plan is not going to be, I don't want to say compulsory, it's not like, we're not going to get disqualified for not bringing us a business plan. And it also doesn't require any structure. It's just a very informal one-pager in which you tell us, it doesn't have to be even the whole page, but in which you tell us a little bit of what you want to include in your presentation. So tell us a little bit of what is your idea, what's the method you want to use, what are you looking at, just for us to know where you're heading and to be able to provide you some feedback. So that's why it's interesting if you can bring it to the table as soon as possible, because that way, and this is why the deadline is in the 3rd, because I mean, that's already very late, but we'll try to do our best to go through as much as we can during those days. But essentially, it's a way for us to give you a final feedback on where you're heading, and if you're committing any specific mistakes that we saw, or if there's something that you're missing, if there's something that we think may not work that well, that at least we can provide you a first advice, or be like, hey, just, you know, rethink this a little bit before the presentation, or here are some of the challenges that you'll find. So in that sense, that should be helpful also to prepare. But yeah, as I said, it's very informal. Don't put any effort into the format. We're not looking at that. We're just looking at seeing some of the content that you're doing, and be able to help you bring some feedback. And yeah, you can take that opportunity or leave it if you don't want to, but I would encourage you to do it. Any more questions?
So
Yeah.
how long is the Q&A session?
Yes, so I actually didn't mention that. Yes, so the helpers pitches at every stage of the competition, it's 10 minutes, 6 minutes of pitch and 4 minutes of Q&A. So it's 6 minutes of you talking, and it can be anything. It can be one person from the team, it can be all of you. I tend to encourage to get your best speaker to come forward. It's not necessary for all of you to talk, and sometimes you want to make sure you bring a better impression. You can also think about it. Think where you're, like, you just need to think of where the kind of where the skills of each of the members of your team are. So, for example, maybe one of your person in your team is very good at answering questions. It's just very good at coming up with things on the spot. It's very good, like knows very well your business idea, has thought through most of it, like has thought through all the holes that you may have, and is going to be able to answer the questions. So then, for example, you can do that. You can have someone else to answer the Q&A, and then have only one person presenting. This is kind of, the format is however you want. You have 6 minutes to present whatever you want, and 4 minutes of Q&A. So that's how it's going to go. And also very important is the timekeeping. We will have to keep a very strict time policy. So you will have someone holding up a message when there's 3 minutes, then one when there's 1 minute, and then there's just gonna be a moment where we're gonna have to interrupt you if you continue doing longer. So yeah, it will be. It's a bit strict, but it's a way to make sure that everyone has the equal opportunities to present their idea and to have the 4 minutes of Q&A. 4 minutes of Q&A are very important. I had it all before in this slide. I think it's super important for you to give it a good thought to what's going to happen in those 4 minutes. There's many things that you can do, from preparing to it, to be strategic about the content that you present, to, yeah, it's very important to make sure that you have thought through what's going to happen in the Q&A. Any more questions, or should I go to connect with John Lowe? All right. Well, if you all want to chat for a little bit, I'm just going to have to do a little bit of IT stuff here while I connect to John Lowe. But yeah, think of somebody